I'm ready. All right. Well, welcome everyone to the Montachusett MPO meeting of December 17th. If it's loud, it's because our holiday party's right next to us, so just ignore it like I'm trying to. Um, with that, Brian, you want to read the roll, please?
Stephen Wolfel from Mass DOT Office of
Yep.
Transportation Planning.
Steve Wolf representing intern secretary and CEO Phil Lang here.
Ian Sullivan from Mass DOT Highway.
Ann Sullivan representing Jonathan Gulliver, MassDOT Highway Administrator.
Mark Pamarini, Leominster.
Here.
Glenn Eaton, MRPC.
Here.
Okay, and then I see two representatives from our subregion 3, which is Air, Harvard, and Lunenburg. I have Logan Bree from Shirley, and I have Glenn McLeod from Lunenburg. Logan, I have you as the representative, and Glenn, I have you as the designee. So for voting items, I'll call Logan. So Logan Bree, subregion 3.
Here.
Oh, now I see Abby Arpano, subregion 2.
Here.
Great. We have a quorum.
All right. Well, again, welcome everyone. We're on to the next agenda item, which is agenda item 2, public comments. Are there any members of the public who'd like to address the MPO today? All right, seeing none, we'll now move to agenda item 3, which is the approval of the November 19th minutes. Can I get a motion second to approve, please?
So moved, Ann Sullivan.
Seconded.
All right. Brian, did you get who was second?
Is that you, Mark?
Can't second. What's the time? Wait a minute.
Was it you?
Yeah,
I think
it was
Logan.
me.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments on the minutes? All right. Seeing none. Brian, you want to read the roll?
Stephen Wolf from Mass DOT.
Yes.
Ian Sullivan, Mass DOT Highway.
Yes.
Mark Pamarini, Leominster.
Yes.
Glenn Eaton, MRPC.
Yes.
Abby Arpano, subregion 2. Abby Arpano, subregion 2.
Sorry.
And Logan Bree, subregion 3.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
All right. We'll now move on to agenda item 4, which is first of our action items. We have a couple of tip actions to take for federal fiscal year 2026 to 2030. Brian, you doing these?
Yes, and originally we were going to have a vote on endorsing the amendment we sent out for public comment last month and an additional amendment to discuss today. However, it looks like we'll leave that till January, the additional amendment. We'll just to discuss the amendment which was out for public comment. So last month in November, we sent this amendment number 1 to the 2026 to 30 program out for public comment. This included 4 discretionary grants awarded in our region. We originally had these listed in 2025. However, we need to amend them into federal fiscal year 2026. This is in relation to Safe Streets for All grants awarded to the city of Fitchburg, city of Gardner, and the town of Clinton. And also the city of Gardner received a build grant for a downtown mobility study. We're in federal fiscal year 2026 now, so we need to amend them into this year. There are no dollar amount changes, but by virtue of changing years, that triggered an amendment. So this was a comment period which lasted through last Friday. We received no comments. We reviewed this with the Joint Transportation Committee at their meeting last week. They recommend to the MPO to endorse. Staff does as well, so that's what we're looking for a motion to do.
All right. Anyone want to make the motion and second it for endorsement, the amendment that was just detailed by Brian?
I'll move to endorse Ann Sullivan.
Mark
Is there a
Pamarini.
second?
Mark Pamarini, second.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Any questions or comments? All right. Seeing none. Brian, you want to read the roll?
Stephen Wolfel, Mass DOT.
Yes.
Ian Sullivan, Mass DOT Highway.
Yes.
Mark Pamarini, Leominster.
Yes.
Glenn Eaton, MRPC.
Yes.
Abby Arpano, Subregion 2,
Yes.
and Logan Bree, Subregion 3.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all for that. And as Brian said, we'll skip amendment 2 and leave that for January, right? Correct, Brian? So
That's
now
right.
agenda 5, which is federal fiscal year 27 and 2031 tip. Brian, take it away.
All right, this is a heads up for our development process, and I made the joke to the JTC last week. I was on the fence about adding this to the agenda because we're in calendar year 25 and we're starting to talk about 2027. So this will be the federal fiscal year 2027 through 31 tip we're developing. We're going to undertake the same schedule that we've done the last several years. Many of you have been through the process before. Right now, staff is in the process of getting updates on the projects within the tip. I should mention, and I think everyone is aware that the tip is just a listing of all federal aid projects in the region in the transportation network. We're tasked with putting this together as the MPO. This is one of our major items during the year, one of the most important things that we do. So we'll be bringing this information before you. We're telling our communities if you have a project on the list or a new project that was just added to the list, make sure you contact your design consultants, have them update Mass DOT, the District 2 or 3, have them update us so we have the most accurate information going into this process. We'll be looking at this list in detail in February. We'll likely go over what is in place next month in January just to get a refresher. As we typically have in the last several years, by the time March rolls around, we'll have our evaluation criteria discussed, all the projects updated, and we'll be looking at various scenarios for funding. Come back in April with the draft for the group, and ultimately send that off for public comment, and hopefully have a endorsed federal fiscal year 27 through 31 tip in May. So no real surprises on the schedule. Very similar to previous years, and this is just a heads up for what's to come.
All right, anyone have any questions for Brian? All right, I don't see any. So as Brian said, we'll be talking about this a lot in the next few months. So thank you, Brian. We'll now move on to agenda item 6, the critical urban slash rural freight corridors. Who's handling this, Brian?
And I'll do this one as well. So last month, I presented this information as an overview, and today, basically, we'll go over what staff recommendations are for these designations, send it out for public comment, and come back in January and vote to endorse after we review any comments that came in. Again, this is in relation to our task at hand. The MPO has been tasked with designating roadways as either critical rural or critical urban freight corridors in the region. By virtue of having them designated, that will then be qualified for National Highway Freight Network funds. Originally, we underwent this exercise in 2017, and this is the same presentation I did last month. So I'll just hit the highlights. You can see the map of the National Highway Freight Network to the left. It's comprised of 4 subsystems: the primary highway freight system, portions of the interstate, and then the critical urban and rural freight corridors, which we are tasked with designating. It's changed a bit since the last go around. In 2017, we had the 2020 census, which has changed the urban boundaries in the region. So we'll have to make some adjustments based on that. Additionally, we are going to be designating additional mileage. Previously, we had designated about 11 rural freight corridor roads, 11 miles of freight corridor roads in rural areas. We now have 18 additional to bring that to 30 in the region. As for the urban mileage, we'll have additional 5 miles. Basically, these roads are providing access to the interstate, primary highway freight system, public transportation facilities, intermodal freight facilities, what have you. Massachusetts has been they have 300 miles to designate as rural freight corridors and 150 to designate as urban freight corridors. So what they've done is they've allocated those miles for the MPOs to designate, which is what we're doing. Um, so today we'll be looking to send our proposals out for public comment period. Come back in January, endorse them. We'll send it off to DOT. They'll certify it, and they'll add it to their state freight program, which they're working on this coming spring.
All right.
Um,
Oh, sorry,
and
Brian.
yeah, and basically, a little bit more information about what these are. You can see the elements that they're looking for. A certain threshold of heavy vehicle traffic, connection to the interstate or facilities that handle a certain threshold of freight, grain elevators, agricultural facilities, mining facilities, forestry, intermodal facilities, what have you, international ports of entry, air, rail, water, significant freight facilities elsewhere, or what most of our designations and proposals are basically just determined by the MPO and the state to be improving the efficient movement of freight in the region. So, um, what we have in place is what you see here. Um, some of the changes that we'll have to make, you can see the red, first of all, is the rural freight corridors currently in place. You can see in the town of Harvard, the eastern portion, that is now in an urbanized area due to changes in the 2020 census. So we're recommending moving that. Additionally, Route 2 out west in Phillipston and Templeton, we had previously designated that as a rural freight corridor. And you'll see in our recommendations that we're proposing to move that. And I'll also note that these are all federal aid eligible roadways. This is not going to affect the ability to get a project done because we're changing designation. However, we just want to make informed decisions and make sure that we're designated roads that are worthy. So what we are proposing is what you see here. Uh, you can see the red rural freight corridors we're proposing with the additional mileage. A number of roads in the northern portion of the region, Ashburnham, Ashby, and Townsend. Portions of Route 119, 101, 31, and 13. This provides connection from the Leominster-Fitchburg area up into southern New Hampshire and southern New Hampshire to the 495 area in the Boston area. In the southern portion of the region, we're looking at Route 68 in Hubbardston and Route 140 in Sterling. This is providing access to the Worcester area up to the Route 2, Leominster-Fitchburg, Gardner area and points west. We moved that Harvard urbanized area designation around. We're recommending Route 110 and Route 111 on the rural areas of that community to be rural freight corridors due to the proximity of 495, Devons, and a number of freight facilities and warehousing facilities that have just come online in recent years. Um, as for the urbanized areas, we have 5 additional miles to designate. We've kept our current miles and are proposing adding miles in Harvard on Route 110 in Air and Route 2A and Willow Road in Air as well. This is due to the location of a number of rail freight facilities in Air and in Devons. And as I mentioned before, the new warehouses in that area as well. So again, this is what staff is proposing. Here's the aggregate data here. We've sent this to DOT for their review to see if it makes sense. What we'd like to do today is to send this out for a 21-day public comment period. And we'll review anything that comes out of that, as well as our additional discussion with DOT at the January meeting of the MPO, and come back and vote to endorse. So again, we're looking for a vote to send this out for public comment.
All right. Anyone have any questions for Brian?
I have a question.
Sure.
for the
Go ahead,
chair.
Ann.
So did we get additional miles? Are we allowed additional miles from last
Right.
year?
Right. Yep. So in 2017, we had, I think it was 11 rural freight corridor miles. Now we have 30 roughly. And as for the urban freight corridor, we had about 4 before, and now we have 8 or 9. So
is
yes,
that,
we do have additional mileage, and also the urban boundaries have changed, so we made some changes based on that as well.
so, so I mean, like, were we allotted more at the national level? Or do we have to just choose choose
I
what?
I could
Did
only
we
assume we
initially have
were, but
300 and now we have
Steve might
300?
know. Yeah, I'm unsure. But the same process played out last time. The state had their allotment, and they went to the MPOs, and they asked us to designate, make proposals. I'm not
So you're
sure if
just,
there was more freight miles awarded nationwide or just to Massachusetts.
okay.
So
And if you want to send me an email, I can have Michaela Niles, freight coordinator, answer more.
Okay, yeah,
And Michaela's here today, so I can give her heads up.
okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Ann. Anyone else have any questions for Brian? All right, so can I get a motion second to release for public comment?
I'll move to accept our release for public comment.
Seconded.
And that was Logan. Any last questions? All right, seeing none. Brian, you want to read the roll?
Stephen Wolfo, Mass DOT.
Yes.
Ian Sullivan, Mass DOT Highway.
Yes.
Mark Piermarini, Leominster.
Yes.
Glenn Eaton, MRPC.
Yes.
Abby Arpano, Subregion 2.
Yes.
And Logan Bree, Subregion 3.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
All right. With that, we'll move on to agenda item 7, which is updates. The first one is from the Highway Division. Ann, you got anything?
Just the update on 26, the Harvard Air Road, project 609213, that is now at PS&E. Right-of-way plans have been approved. We're just going through the right-of-way process, or the town is essentially going through the right-of-way process to kind of get that out the door. We have a bridge replacement project in Harvard and Lancaster, Jackson Road over the Nashville River, over by Devon. So that is at 25%. 75% is due at the end of January. There isn't any right-of-way on that project, although the permitting might be, some challenges. You're going right through a lot of wetlands there, but that's in good shape. Fitchburg, a Safe Routes to School project at Memorial Middle School, that's at 25%. The 75% are due in the middle of February. And then the Twin Cities is on the project as an advanced construction, is under construction now.
All right. Any questions for Ann? All right. Thanks, Ann.
Yep.
Next up is, are there any updates from transit? Brian, I didn't see George on it.
So George Kahali is retired.
Oh, all right.
I don't see anyone from Mart here. I know that Bruno Fisher, the current administrator, is retiring. He mentioned that he was going to make this meeting, but they are looking for a new administrator. The search continues. Other than that, I have no updates from Mart.
All right. We'll go on to the next one. JTC, anything?
Yeah, we met last week, discussed the freight corridors. We've been bringing in more sort of our presentations from projects we work on through the year. We had a presentation on a project we worked on Route 119 in Townsend last week. We'll go through the same process of reviewing tip development items over the next several months with the JTC, get some of their feedback, which has been useful in the past. I wanted to point out a few different things that we have from Mass DOT. First off is the speed feedback signage program. This existed previously. A number of our communities, I believe, received some of these signs. There's another round ongoing. There's an online survey and one of the links in this handout, and a few webinars in January if you're interested. And this is kind of bleeding into the MRPC update. Sorry, Glenn, but I figured I'd add this grant opportunity list that our Planning and Development Department has been curating and keeping up to date. This is useful to our communities. It lists a number of state and federal grants that would be of interest to our communities. There's a lot of useful links. There's dates, dollar amounts, additional information on this. I found it very useful. So hope it's a good resource for you. MRPC assists communities in attaining these grants, administrating these grants, whatever the needs may be, whether that be through our local technical assistance program funding, or perhaps we also contract separately with communities, whatever makes sense. Feel free to reach out to our planning and development staff. Bernie Cahill is knowledgeable about this. He's been putting together this list, so hope you see this as a resource for some of these opportunities. Next JTC meeting will be on January 14th at 2:30.
All right, any questions on JTC stuff? All right, MRPC, I know you just touched a little bit on, Brian. You got anything else with RPC, or Glenn, do you got anything?
I want to thank Brian for sharing the list. Brian, never apologize for doing your job. No sweat at all. Thank you for sharing that information. Our communities need to know about those grants. The only thing I want to say is that, yes, Bernie Cahill is the new Planning and Development Director at MRPC. Started about 2 weeks ago. He was promoted from a previous planning position. He's been with us for about 2 years. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Glenn. All right, we're on to agenda 8, administrative matters. Brian, when's the next meeting?
It'd be January 21st at 1 o'clock, and we'll have additional tip amendment to discuss. We'll be looking at endorsing these urban rural freight corridors, among other things, kicking off the tip process in our work program process as well. So we'll be looking for a quorum again.
All right, any questions for Brian? All right, thank you, Brian. With that, can I get a motion second to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, everybody, have a great holidays and great new year, and we will see you in January. Thanks, everybody.
You as well. Good holidays.
Yes.
Take care.